Hello. I have received my results of my tumor on my appendix, and I wanted to give you a full update. This is going to be long. So I have something called LAMN, and that stands for low-grade mucinous neoplasm tumor. It's found on the appendix, and it's found in less than 0.3% of anything that they will ever pull off of an appendix or a specimen. So to catch you up, during a planned surgery for removing endometriosis and a polycystic cyst on my ovary, a tumor was discovered on my appendix. The next day, I had an emergency appendectomy. They removed my entire appendix and the tumor. 11 days later, yesterday, at 11:10 in the morning, I received a call with my results. My tumor is not benign. It is described as a negative tumor margin. This means it's not quite malignant and that it has begun to invade nearby tissues. Everything I'm about to tell you is information that I have researched myself and that two registered nurse friends have researched and assimilated to me in layman's terms so that I can understand what I am experiencing, potentially about to go through, and explain it to others. The details of what LAMN is that I'm going to explain to you are based on peer-reviewed articles and may or may not apply to me as I go through this based on what is found out in more detail as I move forward in my treatment plan. Having a tumor on your appendix is very rare. Less than 0.01% of people will have that. And from the tumors that are extracted from those people, of the 0.01%, only 0.3% will be LAMN. LAMN is a mucus-based tumor. Endometriosis is also mucus-based. You can also call this mucinous, kind of gross sounding. It is possible that the comorbidity of having both of these things at once is interlinked. I don't know. It is also unknown how long the tumor has been there. It is unknown why the tumor occurred. It is unknown if that was the only tumor that was ever there. It is possible that there was also another tumor or more that ruptured on the appendix at an earlier date, unknown. And if that happened, that would have spread cancerous cells throughout my intestines, cecum, and colon. It is possible that the tumor we are aware of that has been removed has metastasized, aka spread, to tissues in the same areas, aka my intestines, cecum, and colon. My next steps are to meet with my appendectomy doctor this Thursday, tomorrow, meet with a GI doctor for my first consultation, Thursday, also tomorrow, and to meet with an oncologist, a cancer doctor, on Tuesday, a week from yesterday. The biggest step, next step towards finding answers for me will be getting a colonoscopy. The colonoscopy will allow for us to find out whether there were any previous tumors, whether there are any cancerous cells, whether this tumor that has been removed has metastasized or spread, and if so, what stage all of these things are at. Right now, we know none of that. The colonoscopy is specifically looking for something called PMP. It stands for a very long word that I can't pronounce. You can look it up, and it kind of just sounds like a chemical, which I guess it is. And that is the cancer that this tumor would have released and spread to my belly around my organs in the very worst case scenario. That thing is incurable, PMP. We do not want any PMP inside of me. The part of my colon that they will be looking closely at in the colonoscopy is called the cecum. Depending on the results of what we learn in the colonoscopy, my treatment would range from having another surgery where they would remove part of my intestine, which is closest to the appendix. It's the right hemicolectomy, to chemotherapy. In terms of a prognosis, the main reason that people die from this is because they are ignorant to the existence of the tumor, aka they just don't know that it's there, and they'll die from it because there's not really a reason for people to look at an appendix, especially because it's not really useful. That's what we think of when we think of an appendix, right? We don't need it. So the fact that I had an operation where the doctor saw the tumor and had it removed is extremely lucky. I'm extremely grateful, and that is the first step. If things are confined, nothing has spread, and it was just my appendix, and all we had to do was take out the appendix and the tumor, I will be fine. Most likely very fine. If things have spread, I will still probably be okay. What we really do not want is the PMP. And I keep hearing like TNT. Oh, that's not good. That part is incurable. But even if we were to be there, in that experience, in that reality, people can still live 5 to 10 years with it. PMP cancer does not travel through the lymph nodes like what we're used to thinking of with cancer. Cancer usually travels through lymph nodes like in your armpits. PMP cancer ends up in the belly. It is literally nicknamed jelly belly. I have never looked up a cancer and seen something like other names known as street names jelly belly. I was like, of course. And you can look up jelly belly on on Google Images and you can see it's a very distended belly when it gets out of control. And the good news is that I currently do not have any warning symptoms of any of that right now. I do not have any of that fluid. They would have seen that when they operated on me. I do not have a hernia. I do not have any of the symptoms of that. Now, one of the benefits, even if they did find the cells of that inside of me, if it was PMP, is that because it's so rare and so different and specific, is that it would need to be treated with chemotherapy, but it would not be a traditional chemotherapy. It would be something called HIPEC, hypothermic intraperitoneal chemotherapy. Bear with me if I don't know how to pronounce these correctly. It's been less than 24 hours. Well, I guess it's been 24 hours and 15 minutes. Okay, so this HIPEC thing, a different kind of chemotherapy, it's used to treat very specific cancers, usually in the abdomen, also mesothelioma. And HIPEC has very specific and several advantages to traditional chemotherapy, including that there is just a deeper penetration due to the higher temperature, like thermal. It's generally more effective. And there are fewer side effects that we see when we think of chemotherapy, like nausea, vomiting, pain, hair loss, weight loss, because the cancer-fighting agents that are happening in the chemotherapy don't have to circulate throughout your entire body. It's localized to the abdomen. So that's one of the benefits of this being so specific, so rare. And yeah, I would have, if it got to that, I would have something that is different as a treatment in the worst case scenario. There is also a high resurgence rate of LAMN, even not with the PMP. It's 54% likely to just recur. So I would likely need to be very proactive and go back routinely for screenings like CAT scans and things like that. So I'm gonna take a drink. Those are all the fact-based pieces that I understand as of right now about LAMN and PMP that are specific to the condition that I know that I have as of right now that may or may not apply to me based on what we find out in the colonoscopy and further moving forward. This is what I have essentially armed myself with. And I know that for myself, that understanding the best and worst case scenario for everything based on facts helps me calm the manager part of my mind. I know psychologically that uncertainty is what cultivates fear. And I know that I have no control over these outcomes besides what appointments I make, how I contribute to my treatment plan and the recovery process, showing up. But I think that it's fair to create a sense of autonomy and control in situations like these as much as we can, as well to be as informed as possible. So, for example, in this educational process in the last 24 hours, I have also learned about the potential connection which like between endometriosis and my ovaries and the mucosal events, and how both of my nurse friends independently insisted that I advocate that these things be tested for the PMP as well. So that's not something that I would have known to ask for. That's not something I would have thought to ask for. So I am taking diligent notes and I will advocate, you know, I will for the best that I can have, do, and be in this process. In terms of how am I feeling? As I mentioned before, I was not expecting a traditional cancer diagnosis. I do not, I was joking, like, I don't identify as somebody who has cancer. It feels like a very, like, common thing, not to trivialize cancer, obviously. But a 0.3% chance of something that only happens to 0.1% of people, that checks out for me. I've always said I'm the 1 in 8,000 girl. I always have been. I didn't know that that was really an option for cancer. So yeah, am I psyched? No. Did I cry? Yes. I am not happy about it. But you know what? I am thinking back to just 2 years ago in the summer of 2022 when I found out that I had autism. And for some reason, that set me on a ride. I made a podcast about it. You can listen to it. And then 2 months later, after that, I found out that I might have a brain tumor and I didn't sleep for a week and I lost my mind. And what I can say is that my ability to process adversity shit has transformed for sure. Like I can literally have my least favorite people knock on my door and try to ruin my day on purpose and then teach a class 15 minutes later and you guys have no idea. I can have someone call me with this diagnosis and 20 minutes later leave to drive an hour to rehome my kitty Luca to the most wonderful women. And it'll be okay. And 24 hours later, record this as an update to you without crying and not be pushing it down. And all of this is honestly a testament to my own theories put into practice, to keeping happiness habits alive, to having perspective in place. And I'm incredibly fucking proud of myself. I want to express gratitude for Katie and Janice for immediately being there for me as my like medical eyes to overlook my paperwork and results, to help me understand it in layman's terms, answer my questions, and researching articles to discuss the illness's symptoms, prognosis, and other information, especially because I was literally about to get into a car with a cat and a carrier and drive over an hour. To the 3 doctors for getting me in within a week, to the first doctor for finding the tumor in the first place, which could save my life, for having access to American medical care and insurance, to the unconditional support of Matt, my dad, my Merriment coworker team, my Merriment Maker members, April, Katie, Janice, my friends, all of you. And to myself for being proactive in the moment. For before I left to go to get on that road to Rockville with Luca in the carrier, I texted Janice, I texted Katie, I made 3 calls in tears to the oncologist, the GI, and the appendectomy doctor to make those appointments immediately, even though I was upset because I knew that a minute might matter. And I asked for the help that I needed with the paperwork and then also waiting until I had all the facts based on information that I needed before I called my dad to inform him so that I wouldn't scare the crap out of him needlessly. And I'm doing the same with you. Instead of just like vague booking, I have something. The perspective I have of this is motivating me to live more, faster, bolder, bigger, better. If this puts me in a place where my sand timer has less sand in my timer, then I'm going to make it count. And honestly, we should all be living like that. What you can do for me, I want you to celebrate me while I'm here. And this isn't exclusive to this diagnosis. I have loved and appreciated and felt honored to read all of your comments of support and concern and love recently after my surgery updates. And I have also missed seeing you around before that. I know the algorithm works against us, but so does our mindset. We wait until Frida Kahlo dies to buy her paintings and for Oscar Wilde to pass for us to celebrate his writing. Why do we have to wait to name the building after James Earl Jones until he can't see that it's happening? Please, not just of me, but I beg of you to celebrate the people in your lives while they can be around to hear it, to appreciate it. Tangibly for me, I would love for you to listen to, watch, read my work, participate in it, participate in life. As much as I share the parts of my life as a way to include you, to be vulnerable, to share things like this, to have the courage to share parts of my story so that they relate. I am not an influencer. I am not a content creator. I am a writer. I am a teacher. I am an artist, a poet, a philosopher, a thought leader. I am someone here to help you understand multiple perspectives of things, to be the devil's advocate, to help you get off autopilot, to remind you to come back to your weird, childlike self. I am a merriment maker. My long-term goal is to help as many people as possible feel as good about themselves with their mental health, their confidence, and self-love so that they go out into the world and create a difference through whatever lens of passion they desire. I believe the most effective way for me to do that right now is through the internet, in the way that I have been doing through multiple ways to access materials to feel good so that you can do good. And my second goal is to make so much money doing that I not only have everything that I want, but that I come back to Baltimore in a rainbow outfit with more than enough resources into the exact right room with the exact right people and say, here's what's happening. We are going to feed everyone. We are going to give them medicine. We are going to clean up the trash and we are going to give them homes. We are going to paint the buildings and the houses and the curbs and the benches bright colors. There will be boxes to swap toys and books and treasures on every corner. And everyone will have a job because this is going to take work and it's going to take time and it's going to take maintenance. And it won't be weird to be wonderful here. And no one will say no, because I will have enough money to buy their yes, and it won't need politicians. I will be the donor. And I will show the world that if we can create kindness and joy and safety in a city like Baltimore with all of this stigma by addressing basic needs and making joy the norm, that we can do it anywhere. And then we will continue on in other cities by using the same blueprint. I believe this is possible. This is an oversimplified explanation and strategy, but this is why I desire money. This is why I desire more. This is why I desire to keep going. I want to claw my way to the top to help others do the same. And right now feels as good of a time as any to share my ultimate goal with you. So if you want to celebrate me while I'm alive, if you want to contribute to this, if you want to even be just aware of what I've already done or what I want to do, here we go. I have published a book, a workbook, podcast, YouTube channel, Instagram, and Facebook with thousands of posts over 11 years, blog archives, membership groups, and hundreds of digital classes. Some are free, some are paid. I offer multiple services, including receiving mail in your inbox or good news texts on your phone. I have physical products like a deck of happy activity cards, books, stickers, postcards, magnets, glitter pills, and printables. I host parties, events, both online and in person. The next two that are coming up are my Halloween party and the Body Confidence Seminar. One of them you can come to from anywhere for free. By going to my website, uncustomary.org, you will see your options for how to work with me, get things for yourself, and access a lot of free resources, including my new favorite free offering, the Positive Pulse Dashboard. Another great way to support me for free is to leave me a review. You can do that on Google by searching Uncustomary Coach Baltimore or going to my Facebook page and leaving me a review there. For bonus points, you can copy and paste that same review on both platforms. And simply also just liking my work on social media, commenting, sharing it. Do you know how much sharing helps? This is a long-term game, and every share counts, every new follower counts, every new good feeling counts. When you watch the whole video, when you get the whole message, when you apply it to your life, when you integrate it, the more we can feel good, the more we can do good. And I am not stopping. I have always said that I want to work until the day that I die, and it does not matter when that day is, if it is tomorrow or if it is when I'm 99. I hope it's when I'm 99, but I will roll with whatever happens, and I hope you will come with me. And these reminders are not just for me. These are for everyone that you love, everyone you support, everything you believe in. Do not wait for a crisis to celebrate someone, to tell them that you love them, to tell them you appreciate them. Do not get mad when someone falls out because you have not supported it, when the record stores close, when the malls close, because you have not patronized them. Let them know you love them now. Thank you for listening to this update. I'm okay. We are all okay. The next time I will have information for you as a result of the LAMN updates will be in a couple weeks after my colonoscopy results. And until then, we will return to your regularly scheduled Merriment programming. As a PS, if you were wanting the update for the surgery, what the surgery was like, what the hospital was like, all of those questions, that is a extremely long episode that you can find on Spotify and YouTube. And have a beautiful day, you wonderful weirdos.